I held a man's hand while he died on October 14, 1983. He was 51 years old, ran marathons, ate nothing but vegetables and fish, had a resting heart rate of 52, which is elite athlete territory. He was in better shape than I was, and I was a paramedic who worked out every day. We got the call at 6:47 in the morning. Male, unresponsive, not breathing. We pulled up to a nice house in Grosse Pointe. His wife met us at the door in her bathrobe, screaming that he just collapsed, that he was fine, that he had just come back from his morning run, that this could not be happening. He was on the kitchen floor, no pulse, not breathing. We started CPR immediately, shocked him 4 times, pushed every drug we had, worked on him for 32 minutes. He never came back. At the hospital, they did an autopsy. You know what they found? A 95% blockage in his left anterior descending artery, the widowmaker. It had been growing inside him for probably 20 years. He had no symptoms, none. He ran 6 miles that morning and felt great. Then he walked into his kitchen to drink a glass of water and his heart stopped. I have been holding that memory for over 40 years, and I am going to tell you exactly what I learned in 4 decades of watching people die, so that you do not become one of them. I spent 41 years as a paramedic in Detroit. I responded to over 12,000 emergency calls, car accidents, shootings, overdoses, fires. But the calls that stayed with me, the ones that woke me up at 3 in the morning for years after I retired, were the heart attacks. Specifically, the heart attacks in people who should not have had heart attacks. The runners, the swimmers, the guys who went to the gym 5 days a week, the women who did yoga and ate organic and never touched a cigarette, the people who did everything right and still ended up on my stretcher with their eyes rolled back and their families screaming in the background. I watched hundreds of them die, hundreds. And the thing that haunted me was not the dying. I got used to death. You have to in this job. What haunted me was the pattern, the same story over and over again. He was so healthy. She was in such good shape. He just had a checkup and everything was fine. She ran a 10K last month. None of that mattered. They were dead anyway. And I could not understand why until I started learning what was actually happening inside their bodies. What I learned changed everything. It probably saved my life, and it might save yours if you pay attention for the next few minutes. Your heart does not care how fast you can run. Your heart does not care how many vegetables you eat. Your heart does not care about your cholesterol numbers on a blood test. Your heart only cares about one thing: is blood getting through? You can have arteries that are 90% blocked and feel absolutely fine. Your body is so good at adapting that it will keep blood flowing right up until the moment it cannot anymore. And when it stops fast. Sometimes you get a warning: chest pain, shortness of breath, arm tingling. Sometimes you get nothing. You just drop. For half of all men and almost 2/3 of women, the very first symptom of heart disease is death. Not pain, not discomfort. Death. That is not a statistic I read in a book. That is what I saw on the job for 4 decades. People who felt perfect one minute and were gone the next. I responded to a call in 1991. A 44-year-old man collapsed at a gym. He was bench pressing and suddenly stopped mid-rep. The bar came down on his chest. The guy on the next bench pulled it off and started yelling for help. By the time we got there, maybe 6 minutes later, he was already blue. We worked on him. We always worked on them. But I knew from the color of his skin and the way his eyes looked that he was gone before we arrived. The gym had his member file. He came in 5 days a week, did cardio, did weights, was trying to lose the last 10 pounds before his 20th high school reunion. He was in better shape than most of the paramedics on my crew. His wife told me later that he had been feeling tired for a few weeks. Just tired. He thought he was overtraining. He thought he needed to back off the workouts a little. He never connected tiredness with his heart because he was healthy. Healthy people do not have heart attacks. That is what everyone believes. Everyone is wrong. The blockages that kill people are not the big stable ones. The big stable ones, the ones that are 70 or 80% blocked, those usually give you warning signs. You feel chest tightness when you climb stairs. You get short of breath during exercise. Your body tells you something is wrong because the blood flow is actually restricted enough that you notice. But the blockages that kill without warning are different. They are smaller, maybe only 40 or 50% blocked. Not enough to restrict blood flow, not enough to cause symptoms, but they are soft. They are like blisters filled with junk, covered by a thin layer of tissue. And when that thin layer tears, when the blister pops, your body panics. Your body thinks there is a wound. It sends platelets to form a clot. In a matter of minutes, that clot grows so large that it completely seals off the artery. Total blockage. Instant. No warning. The blood stops. The heart muscle starts dying. And if enough muscle dies, the whole heart stops. That is what happened to the marathon runner in Grosse Pointe. That is what happened to the guy at the gym. That is what happened to my brother Dale. Dale was my younger brother, 4 years behind me. He was the healthy one in the family. I smoked for 15 years before I quit. I ate whatever was in front of me. I worked crazy hours and never slept enough. Dale was the opposite. He started running in the 1970s before it was popular. He went vegetarian in the 80s. He meditated. He did everything right. In 1995, Dale was 58 years old. He had just retired from teaching. He was planning to spend his retirement traveling with his wife. They had trips booked to Europe, to Alaska, to Japan. He was excited about the future for the first time in years. On March 7th, he came back from his morning run, sat down in his living room, and his heart stopped. His wife found him an hour later. She thought he was sleeping. He was still warm when she touched him. The paramedics who responded were guys I knew. They told me later there was nothing they could have done. He was gone before he hit the chair. I went to the hospital. I asked to see the autopsy report. 90% blockage in the widowmaker. No symptoms. No warning. No history of heart problems. Perfect cholesterol. Perfect blood pressure. Perfect everything except for the thing that actually mattered. After Dale died, I became obsessed. I read everything I could find about heart disease. I talked to cardiologists. I talked to researchers. I tried to understand how a healthy person could have arteries that looked like clogged pipes without feeling anything. What I learned is that standard checkups are almost useless for predicting heart attacks. A stress test shows how your heart performs under load. It does not show what is growing inside your artery walls. Blood work shows the ingredients floating in your blood. It does not show if those ingredients are sticking to your arteries and forming plaques. A doctor listening to your heart with a stethoscope can hear rhythm problems. He cannot hear a blockage building. The only way to know if you have plaques forming in your arteries is to look directly at your arteries. And until recently, that was expensive and invasive, and doctors did not recommend it for people without symptoms. Now there are scans. A coronary calcium scan takes 5 minutes. No needles. No dye. You lie down, hold your breath a few times, and a machine takes pictures of your heart. It shows calcified plaque, the hard stuff that has been building for years. A score of 0 means no calcified plaque. Perfect. A score over 400 means you are a ticking time bomb. There is another scan called a CT angiogram. This one shows not just the hard plaque, but the soft plaque, the dangerous stuff, the blisters that can rupture without warning. This is the scan that can actually find the killer before it kills. I got my first calcium scan when I was 73 years old. The score was 482. 482. I had been a paramedic for 41 years and I had no idea that I was walking around with a bomb in my chest. They did a CT angiogram. They found significant soft plaque in 2 arteries. The cardiologist looked at me and said, if we had not found this, you probably had 2 years at most. Maybe less if you got stressed or exerted yourself too hard. He put in 3 stents. I walked out of the hospital 3 days later with arteries that were clear and a new appreciation for being alive. That was 16 years ago. I have been getting scanned every year since. They have found a few small things that they have addressed before they became big things. I take my medications. I watch my blood pressure. I stay active, but I do not push myself into the danger zone. I am still here. Dale is not. The marathon runner in Grosse Pointe is not. The guy at the gym is not. Hundreds of people I tried to save are not. The difference is not that I am healthier than they were. The difference is that I got scanned and they did not. You need to listen to me right now. Whatever age you are, if you are over 40, you need to get a coronary calcium scan. It is cheap. It is fast. It is the single most important thing you can do for your heart that almost nobody does. Your doctor might not suggest it. Suggest it yourself. Demand it if you have to. A score of 0 and you can relax for a few years. A score over 100 and you need to start paying serious attention. A score over 400 and you need intervention now, not later. If your calcium score shows anything concerning, push for the CT angiogram. Find the soft plaque, find the blisters, find the killers before they kill. And let me tell you something else. The symptoms of a heart attack are not always what you think. Hollywood shows men clutching their chests and falling over. That happens sometimes. But sometimes it is just fatigue, just nausea, just a weird feeling in your jaw or your back, just a sense that something is wrong that you cannot explain. I responded to a call once where a woman thought she had food poisoning. She was vomiting and had pain in her stomach and felt terrible. She almost did not call 911. Her daughter made her. When we got there, I took one look at her and knew. She was pale, sweating, something in her eyes that I had seen 100 times before. I told my partner to prep the cardiac kit. The daughter said it is just her stomach. I said no, it is not. It was a massive heart attack. We got her to the hospital in time. She survived. But if she had waited, if she had decided to sleep it off, she would have died in her bed. Women present differently than men. Do not expect the Hollywood heart attack. Trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is. I need you to understand something. Feeling healthy and being healthy are not the same thing. The people I watched die felt healthy right up until they did not. They trusted their bodies to warn them. Their bodies did not warn them. Their bodies adapted and compensated and hid the danger until it was too late. Do not trust how you feel. Trust what you can measure. Get the scans. Know your numbers. Find the problems before they find you. I am 89 years old. I have been retired for 26 years. I have outlived most of my colleagues. I have outlived my brother. I have outlived more people than I can count who looked healthier than me and should have lived longer than me, but did not because they trusted their feelings instead of getting tested. I think about that marathon runner in Grosse Pointe sometimes. I think about holding his hand while he died. I think about his wife in her bathrobe screaming that he was fine. I think about how if he had gotten one scan, just one scan, he probably would have lived another 30 years. He would have seen his kids grow up. He would have met his grandchildren. He would have had decades more with his wife. Instead, he died on his kitchen floor at 51 because nobody looked inside his chest until it was too late. Do not be him. Do not be my brother. Do not be the guy at the gym or the woman with the stomach pain who almost did not call. Get scanned. Do it this month. Do it before you forget. Do it before you convince yourself that you feel fine, so you must be fine. I spent 41 years watching people die because they did not know what was growing inside them. I do not want to watch you die too. The scans exist. The technology is there. The only thing stopping you from finding out the truth about your heart is your own decision to go get checked. Make the decision. Make it today. Your life might depend on it. I know mine did.